Hey everybody, welcome back to Chris and Matt Watch That.
Nope.
Today,
Try again.
Chris and Matt Watch That.
Try again. Talk about.
Oh. We did watch something.
We did watch something. You gotta
I'm
say
technically
it right.
correct.
But the name of the podcast is Chris and
I'm
Matt
wrong,
Talk About
but-
That.
I know.
You should try being less wrong, Matt.
I know.
You should
I
try
just
that
need to
sometime.
get my head examined.
Well, there's a lot of head to examine, so I'm not sure they're going to find anything.
No, big brain. It's got a lot of
joke-
stuff in there. Okay.
Yeah, the joke behind this is Matt has an enormous head.
Yes.
Like, have you ever seen one of those hats that says one size fits all? It's a lie. It will not fit Matt. Matt has a
No.
gigantic noggin.
Gotta have a lot of cranium space for this big brain. What can I tell you?
Yeah.
But,
So of course you filled it with Star Trek knowledge.
yeah, it's the most useful information of
This is about saving
Vortex.
the future of humanity.
Yeah. So speaking of Star Trek, we're doing DS9 season 1 episode 12 Vortex today. And the writer was Sam Rolfe, who was born Sam Rosenbaum. This guy's IMDb is 1,000,000 miles long. He's one of those old school TV writers that used to just pump stuff out for every TV show you can think of in like the 50s and 60s. This guy is older. He created a show called Have Gun Will Travel, a Western. And one of the writers he hired was Gene Roddenberry. And he also wrote the season 3 TNG episode, The Vengeance Factor, the one where a young woman is actually an old woman who is trying to kill a biker gang. And a little piece of trivia is that originally they wanted twins to be from that biker gang species.
Oh, okay. Wonder why they didn't.
But this is the first episode we hear. Just, let me get into a little bit of trivia here. This is the first episode we hear that Morn's name is Morn. And everywhere I looked confirmed this fact, but I could have sworn they said his name in the last episode, the Nagus. I guess not.
No, they didn't.
As we said, his name is an anagram of Norm from the TV show Cheers. When the runabout comes under fire, Odo snaps, "I'm a security officer, not a combat pilot." Obvious homage to Dr. McCoy from the original series.
And let's be honest. Odo's whole character is an homage to Dr. McCoy. He's the grumpy country doctor. He's the grumpy country
He's
sheriff.
definitely grunty.
He grunts and harumphs more than anybody else in the cast.
Yes. The shots of the Vortex are reused shots of the nebula from Wrath of Khan. They're just zoomed in and flipped upside down.
When I was watching this and they fly to the Chamra Vortex, I'm like, oh, look, the Mutara Nebula. But despite them reusing it, because they're using cinema grade effects, it looks incredible. Like those exterior shots are so good.
It is not as egregious as the movie Generations, which reuses a shot of a Klingon ship being destroyed from the previous movie. Exactly. That's the most egregious reuse, I think, about it.
Well, and that shot gets reused a couple of times in Star Trek, actually. It gets used in the series as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, the way that ship blows up in Star Trek 6 is pretty cool, where it's getting hit from both sides and then it blows. It looks fantastic, but
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
But it's also so iconic that we know it when you're reusing the shot. Like, wait, I just saw this movie. Hold on a minute.
So we talked about how Quark is way more morally malevolent in this first season. Apparently Armin Shimmerman had an issue with Quark actually giving the coordinates to the Mirrodin twin. He's thinking that Quark had crossed too much into high crime. I think that's a little absurd that he'd think that specifically this episode because of what Quark had been a party to in previous episodes, including being an accessory to murder. Yeah. An episode where Bashir's possessed. I actually think what he does in this episode isn't as egregious.
I would agree. I think this is not as bad. Not even close.
This is the first episode where we spend a considerable time in the Gamma Quadrant, despite the fact that it's mostly in a gas cloud and inside an asteroid.
And the gas cloud is actually the gas cloud from the Alpha Quadrant anyway, visually.
Yeah. So, I mean, true. Good point.
Well, what can you do?
So, just my first takeaway on this episode was I appreciated that we got another episode that focused on a character and the story was actually about their character.
Yeah.
We actually get to learn Odo, who he is. He's not just the main character in the plot. The plot actually revolves around him and his internal struggles.
Yeah. It kind of reinforces him as he is not a lawman. I don't think. He is a vigilante with a badge.
Yeah. We'll get into that for sure.
Yeah, that's where I come away with this particular episode. Like, I don't disagree with what he does in this episode, but he's very into the rules until he feels like the rules are too inconvenient, and then he forgets the rules.
Yeah, if we're going to do an alignment in a role-playing game, he would not be lawful good. The way he speaks often, you would assume, lawful good, right?
Oh, he's chaotic good.
More chaotic good, right, yeah.
Maybe even chaotic neutral at times.
He has his
I don't know where he is.
Idea of what justice is, and he almost has no consideration for the law in a lot of senses, or what other people think justice is.
Yeah,
he doesn't appreciate
I would agree on that.
I really enjoyed the guest stars that they brought in for this episode. Cliff DeYoung, who plays the Croden, who's the con artist, and Randy Oglesby, who plays both the Mirrodin twins. Oglesby is one of these TV character actors who was on a million TV shows and appears in a bunch of different Star Trek episodes. Cliff DeYoung is in a million things as well, including the infamous 1993 film The Skateboard Kid, about a talking skateboard voiced by Dom DeLuise. This is one of the most infamously bad movies.
How does anyone greenlight a movie about a talking skateboard?
It is, and what you're imagining in your head, it's worse. It's so absurd. It's
I almost want to watch it because Dom DeLuise as the voice would be hilarious, I'm sure, but
it's for anybody who's a fan of Red Letter Media, there's a best of the worst episode about it. It is unbelievable that it's a thing that exists. But did you like this episode? I kind of liked it. It's not like the best episode I ever saw, but I thought it was all right.
This was just like, it's a Star Trek episode. My favorite parts were the exterior effects on the runabout, because I know it was just reused with the Mutara Nebula, but it just shows how models are better than CG because the runabout looks spectacular there too. But that when my favorite thing about an episode is how it looks, that the episode itself isn't particularly standout.
No, I just right away after all these previous episodes, I just immediately was like appreciative that it was actually about a character.
Yeah.
So that just made me feel good. And then I really liked the guy who was doing the con man thing. The plot is not super interesting.
No.
So that's kind of the downfall of it.
It also brings up, I have so many questions about how Odo works with this episode.
And you know what? And I don't understand. Well, I think he is flawed. I think the writers were being purposeful that this guy is not like a Federation lawman.
No. I'm not talking about like his character. I'm talking about like how he as a changeling works. Like, where does the extra mass go? Where does, stuff like that?
I got notes on that.
How does he hear when he's a glass? How does he see when he's a glass? I
don't know. Maybe we'll talk about that when I get to that in my notes, or if you want to talk about it now, because I had notes on that. I don't remember which act it was in, but
it's right at the beginning, so we can wait until we start digging into the episode there. So, but
yeah, I had a lot of the same ideas to me. But let's get into it. So the teaser, Quark's bar. Odo expresses suspicion about a quite new visitor from the Gamma Quadrant named Croden, and then notices Quark meeting suspiciously with a newly arrived pair of Miradorn twins, Akel and Rokel, and they're played by the same actor, and you can
they
tell
sound like
from
salsa
the
brands.
Shot.
Like brands of salsa.
My opening criticism of this episode is they don't do a good enough job with the makeup to differentiate the two alien species. The first time I watched this, I assumed that they were both the same species. When you get a closer look, you can tell they're clearly different. But right off the bat, I was like, oh, these are all Gamma Quadrant people we're being introduced to.
Have we heard of Miradorn before this? Or is this another one-off?
No, that's the thing. No. You'd think they'd be like Klingons or something. No, it's an alien species we've never heard of.
Or Nausicaans or something like that, you don't have to invent a new alien every time there's an alien, right?
Well, especially like I said, they were supposed to be that biker gang alien from that TNG episode, and they basically look like humans, from what I remember.
Yeah, they're like humans with I think they had some face paint, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
TNG makeup not so good, but it is what it is. When every alien's a rubber forehead, eventually.
That's the issue with Star Trek.
I would have loved to see some coloration differences. Whether I think they cast the right people for both of them, but maybe I don't know, maybe make the forehead a different color, or throw some bronzer, or make them green or orange or purple. Do something to differentiate one set of the aliens from the other. Just because I was the same thing. I'm like, oh, these are all the same. Oh, no, they're not. Nope. That's a different nose. They have different noses. That's how you know they're different aliens. Do you think that people in the Star Trek universe think that humans are multiple species because of how different our noses can be from one another? You've got somebody with this big Roman nose, and then another person who has a really tiny flat nose, and they go, oh wow, what species are you? Human. Well, what's he? Human. But your noses are different. You can't be the same species.
That's something they don't get into. They cast people of other races as Klingons and Romulans from my memory.
Yeah, and Vulcans too. So
people in other alien species would have their own races that would look different inside of that, but
for sure.
I don't know. 40-minute.
You get with the Andorians, you get Andorians, you've got different shades of blue, and then you've got the subspecies that's completely white and blind, the Anar, I think. So I don't know. They do it sometimes, and sometimes they don't. You want the aliens to look like the aliens that you remember from the last episode you saw the aliens in, so that's why they do it this way.
That's kind of one of my criticisms of Star Trek is the aliens aren't alien enough as often as I would like. I was talking to our friend Cody from our previous episode the other day. You remember the episode where TNG, where Data is trying to get a human colony off the planet because they've made a new peace treaty with an alien species and they have to give them this planet, and Data ends up shooting their water viaduct to finally get these people to leave.
Oh yeah.
And the alien species is an alien species I love. They're only in that one episode. And they look kind of like a rock. They don't look totally humanoid.
Is that the Shellyak, right?
Yes, the Shellyak. Yeah, you have a great memory for Star Trek, let me tell you.
Yeah.
And they sit in kind of a circular thing with crystals around them. And the crystals light up as he speaks, and he's putting his hand over the crystals. And I wish Star Trek had more really alien feeling aliens.
The entire makeup and effects budget for that season on those aliens. That's part of the issue, right?
Yeah.
Before CG got believably good, it was so difficult to make aliens look good. I mean, DS9's budget was huge for the aliens that they have, and the aliens aren't even that different. I mean, the Ferengi are. Like, Ferengi are great. I love how different they look, because it's not just the rubber it's the whole rubber head, man, and the big ears and everything. They look, they look like goblins. They're intended to. But with the forehead of the weak guys, and they all know how to do things. But they did do that episode going, hey, look, humanoids seeded this whole galaxy. That's why everybody kind of follows the same pattern.
There's a
and
lore
why we don't
explanation.
have so at least they go that far, and there's a lore explanation, because I like stuff more like in the Expanse. There are aliens in the Expanse later on. Sorry, this is a spoiler for you. They're all dead, but they're described later on. I'm not going to explain everything, but they're described as this. They explain how the aliens work, and they're completely alien. Like, a human would not be able to communicate with them at all, unless you like designed a system like a supercomputer to try to talk from one to the other. It's crazy alien, but that, I think, is a lot more, use the word realistic, but that's a better idea of how aliens would be compared to humans. Or, like, we talked about Arrival before, where it's so difficult to communicate with them, and they're completely different from human beings. So that's how
Star Trek had more of that.
They have a few species like that. They have the Horta from the original series, which is like living lava rock aliens. They have the Tholians, which we only see close up like once in Enterprise, but they're I think they're also silicon based, and they live in very, very high heat environments, and they're all angles and multi-legged space bug things, but they don't look like bugs, right? So there are aliens in Star Trek. They're just expensive to show on screen. Why build a puppet when you can put a rubber forehead on somebody?
Yeah, the stereotypical kind of alien in Star Trek is essentially a human who just has only one human trait. So it'll be a race of people that are angry, or a race of people that are funny, or a race of people that are greedy.
Well, they all start that way, but then
that's what I was going to say. Then as they become, the lore expands, they become more humanized.
Yes.
So they become more and more human. So
because the message of Star Trek is that humanism is the best way to do civilization, and all other ways of civilization are bad. So everybody becomes more human.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So speaking of the aliens, these Miradorn twins with their big metal boots look like rejects from the band Kiss. They look like Gene Simmons impersonators. But in this opening scene, there's an interesting shot here where Rom sets out 4 glasses on a tray, goes to get a liquor bottle, and comes back, and there's 5 glasses on the tray, which hints to us that it's Odo. And
because he was sitting right there.
Right.
And Rom doesn't notice.
But what kills this from being a great shot is that they cut to Odo looking at Rom. This would have been so good if it was one single shot. They where the camera pans up to Rom and then pans back down. And I think they might have shot it that way, but
I think they did.
I think they must have felt the audience wouldn't understand that the 5th glass is Odo. So they put that edit in, but that little edit detracts
trust the audience
for me.
Trust the audience.
I agree always. Mm-hmm. So our next scene after the opening is in the holosuite, which I think is the first time we see the holosuite.
No, we see one in the 2nd episode. That's where Jedzia is doing the mind game thing, and Bashir is painfully failing to hit on her. Yes.
So Quark meets the twins to secretly purchase a stolen jeweled egg. Odo covertly infiltrates the room by shape-shifting into an extra drinking glass on Rom's tray. The aesthetic of this show is so entirely different from TNG. Even the Federation uniforms are different. Mm-hmm. Frankly, in this season, they kind of look like cheap jumpsuits compared to the TNG uniforms.
I don't know. I kind of like them better.
I got a question for you.
I think they look a little sharper.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
I love the unique TNG uniforms, but
These look less like pajamas to me than TNG do. TNG has, especially season 1, has that pajama look, and then they get a little bit better. And
I love that unique look of them. I don't know. I get the criticism, but I don't know. It's just for whatever reason I like that weird unique look that they have. But I have a question. So put yourself into the mind of a producer at Paramount. TNG is this really expensive show to produce, but it's become this big hit. Do you think you, as a producer, would have signed off on a Star Trek show that's so drastically different? Because the show is just as expensive as TNG to make, but it doesn't have that look. Yeah, and it doesn't have that look and feel that's going to capture the average TV viewer who's flipping through the channels and might recognize a starship bridge. And that's part of my theory on why Voyager actually did higher viewership numbers than Deep Space Nine, because you had that familiarity of the starship.
Yeah. Well, and people were familiar with the DS9 style uniforms, which is why Voyager never changed uniforms even after they contacted the Delta or the Alpha Quadrant again. And so, we've had a uniform change. They totally could have changed uniforms at that point, but they didn't. They kept those same uniforms so that they didn't lose that familiarity, and also so they didn't have to spend money on more uniforms.
But isn't it a wild risk that they took on this show on DS9? To me,
I
almost appreciate that they took such a huge risk being
yes and no,
different
because
from TNG.
Star Trek was so big towards the end of the TNG run. There was so much money in Star Trek. Hugely watched show. I mean, DS9 was still very popular, even though it wasn't as popular as TNG or even as Voyager later. It was still a wildly popular TV show. They did good numbers all the time. And there was merchandising. There's Star Trek. I mean, the end of TNG to the beginning of Voyager was like the golden age of Star Trek. And then it kind of, people started losing interest because they over Star Trek. They oversaturated the market, kind of like Paramount just did recently. And nobody wants to watch Star Trek anymore. Now, part of that is because Paramount can't hire any good writers for their Star Trek shows, but
yeah, I don't know if people that are like Zoomers realize how big Star Trek was in the early to mid 90s. Creation, who runs all the conventions now, they were running 5 conventions every weekend. 5 a weekend.
Wow.
And that's just insane. Them. That's not even including like the independent conventions that used to exist. And they're just
raking in money doing that, just pulling in money hand over fist.
So these shows were enormously popular. So my point is the show looks Deep Space Nine. I mean, you look at the holosuite, it looks so different from the holodeck. The show is not just from a channel changing aesthetic. You're trying to catch viewers. It doesn't look like Star Trek. It looks so different. They took a big risk on this show, and I appreciate it. It's very different from TNG, and
it's also unclear if the holosuite set is that just a holosuite without any holograms, or is that a hologram? Like I don't. I think the table. I think the Bear holosuite set is the one that we see in the second episode, and also when in the last Odo episode where he totally doesn't murder the dude. Because he gets murdered. That guy gets murdered in the holosuite. So we do see the Bear holosuite. This doesn't look like that. So it's a little different. So I'm assuming there's a program running or something, but whatever. It doesn't even matter that it's a holosuite, right? It doesn't even matter. It could just be his back room. We don't need to know how big Quarks is. We don't need to know how many rooms it is. The station's enormous. So,
yeah,
whatever.
So we get an attempted robbery. Our Gamma friend Croden bursts into the holosuite with a phaser to steal the egg. A struggle breaks out and Croden kills Rokel, one of the twins. Odo quickly reforms into his humanoid self to disarm Croden.
The glass gets thrown against the wall and Odo shatters into a million pieces and then reforms like nothing's wrong, right? How does Odo work? Like, shouldn't he be injured by that? Well, maybe not. Okay, so he's not injured by that. And where does the mass go? That's my big, where does the mass, shouldn't he be heavy? Is Odo just 6 ounces of hollow man walking around? Later in the episode, he gets knocked out by a falling rock. Dude can get shattered into 1,000 pieces and be fine, but he gets hit in the head. What is happening? Most of my issues with this episode are, how does Odo work? and it not really being consistent with other things we see in this episode. Especially like going from, like, I'll take the glass shattering and him reforming, sure, whatever. But then later on, when he gets hit in the head of the rock, it should take him, I don't know, seconds to recover. Maybe he turns into goo and comes back and he's fine. Like, when he gets knocked out, he just maintains his humanoid form. He doesn't turn into a puddle. So what is happening? Odo doesn't make sense. And I understand that they're still trying to figure out how to make Odo make sense in this, because I don't think they haven't made a lot of the rules for his character yet, because he gets more rules later on. But this is a weird one.
I had a note here, and so I wrote this way. Here's a crazy question. How much of Odo makes Odo? So it's funny that we had the same idea. And I put, if I cut Odo in two, would they reform to create one Odo, or would we have two Odos? If I shot off Odo's legs, would he die? Does he require his entire body to have intelligence?
Yeah. I mean, apparently not, because they shatter him into 1,000,000 pieces and he reforms.
You know, and I was complaining about aliens being alien. Odo is alien.
Super alien. Yeah. He's super alien. Yeah,
Odo the idea that he can join, to spoilers, his species basically exists in an ocean, right? How can you have come out of that as an individual again? Because he does.
Well, that's the idea, you know. Yeah, because it's like they call it the Great Link, and it's basically everything, right? It's everything to all of them all the time, but it's just what it is.
He's basically like muscle tissue that has intelligence. So Odo, there's a lot of questions, right? But he is very alien.
Yes, very alien.
Yeah.
Oh man. And then like the robbery scene where Croden has the phaser, like, why didn't he just stun them all? Like, just switch it to stun, wide beam, stun them all, take the egg, go. You're good. You're good, man.
When I did, so I always ask the AI to make notes, and then I have to edit the notes because the AI always messes it up. And it wrote that Croden shoots him in self-defense. And I deleted that right off the bat. What Croden does is not self-defense. If you commit armed robbery, you can't claim self-defense when the jewelry store owner pulls out his space Glock on you. Yeah. And I don't mean to imply this episode is arguing what he did is self-defense. I only say that to point out that they're making it very clear from the start that this is a man who committed great injustices, and that is someone who Odo would not get along with. Yeah. And then it makes the thing a bigger deal at the end when he lets him go, because he lets go a cold-blooded murder. I mean, there's no way if or buts about it.
I wouldn't say cold-blooded. This would be like second-degree murder.
That's still murder, though.
Yeah, but
he came in armed and murdered a guy.
Well, yeah, I mean, he had intent to kill because he did not have that weapon set to stun. Like, it has to be easy to get a weapon that can stun people, right? Like, you would think that all of the species with these incredibly powerful energy weapons that you can carry in your pocket would make efforts to go like, okay, yeah, you got to push 3 buttons and hold down the trigger to shoot it on kill. All right. You know, we know you might need that function, but otherwise it's just heavy stun, man. It'll knock them out all day. You'd think that would be the default setting.
I think it says something about this Croden guy's character.
Well, if his whole family, we find out his whole family has been killed, right? So he's probably just hates the world at this point, right? He's at watch the world burn part of his arc.
My interpretation of this character is he is a natural was a natural confidence artist, but he is has a rebellious spirit.
Yeah.
And I think that's what leads him to being this kind of card shark, risk taker, antisocial. but he is also charismatic, which is why I'm attracted to him as a character. I think I found him pretty interesting.
Well, you just love the way his forehead ridges frame his nose, so, you know.
Yeah, he's definitely the laziest makeup they've ever had on a main
I don't know.
guest star.
Bajorans are pretty lazy.
Yeah.
Okay, you have a nose, but what if it had like wrinkles right here? And now you're an alien.
So our next scene, Sisko and Odo interrogate the surviving twin, Akel, who is devastated by the loss of his brother and loudly vows deadly vengeance against Kroden. Odo suspects that Quark may have been in league with Kroden. Quark feels that Akel will hear this theory and will kill him. And I like the actor's delivery of this line, "My only purpose in life from here on is to see him dead." I mean, I don't know if you liked him, but I liked the guest stars this episode.
I mean, I think he delivered his lines well enough. He was a very kind of two-dimensional character. He was, I am the reason that conflict happens in this episode. Hi, my name is Medium Salsa, and I will be your conflict this episode, you know? So that's kind of what he's there for. I didn't find him compelling. I think he did a great job with the characters he played, but you know, he was just another alien of the week.
So we go to the holding cell. Sisko and Odo question Kroden about his background. Kroden shocks Odo by calling him a changeling, term Odo has never heard used before for his kind, and us, the audience, have not heard that before.
Yep.
And he's hinting that Kroden knows where Odo's people are. And I like Kroden's line in here, "My needs exceed my skills." I really like, that's maybe my favorite line in the episode.
I think we've all felt that before. I think everybody, every human on this planet has felt like their needs exceed their skills.
Yeah. And I like this character. I like this conflicted confidence artist. They give us a reason to feel sympathy for him, but at the same time, you can tell he enjoys this manipulation game he's playing with Odo. And he shows no remorse for killing. I mean, he shows none.
To be fair, it was a biker gang twin, so whatever.
Yeah.
You know, clearly an unsavory member of society. So why should we mourn them? I'm kidding, guys. Like, we shouldn't want to kill people that are make you uncomfortable. Like,
as long as they're Mirrodins, it's okay. Who we never see before or after, or this Gamma Quadrant.
Keep the Mirrodins out of my country. Building a space wall.
So we go to Ops. Sisko and Dax prepare to take the runabout into the Gamma Quadrant to locate Kroden's highly isolationist home planet, Rakar, to figure out how to legally handle the prisoner. So I have a question. Do you think Starfleet had an obligation to tell this guy's homeworld what happened? So the United States will tell a foreign government that someone from their country is under arrest only if the United States has a treaty that requires it. Many countries do have a treaty that requires it, but many don't. They will do it if the person under arrest requests it. So in this circumstance, we know the Federation nor Bajor has a treaty with this world. And we definitely know Kroden wouldn't have wanted them to tell his
No, he doesn't want to go back. He would be happy to... I mean, we've seen Federation prison colonies. I don't know about Bajoran prison colonies. I imagine they're a bit harsher. But
what do you think of Sisko's decision here to go out and tell these people?
I think he's using it as an excuse to contact more species in the Gamma Quadrant. I think that is what is driving this. It's not out of any obligation. He goes, "Hey, we have a criminal. Would you like to deal with your criminal? Also, we're the Federation of Planets. You should get to know us so we can assimilate so you can join us." So it's Sisko's being a good little Imperial goon. Is what he's doing. He's reaching out to this other civilization, going, "Hey, here's your man, and we should have formal relations between our nations." And they're like, "Yeah, but we're space fascists like the Cardassians." And he goes, "Oh, well, you guys are kind of rude." And then he goes back, you know. Well, they're kind of rude, so I don't know.
So we'll get to it in a sec, but he goes and they tell him, we want him. He's committed crimes here. And Cisco tells them right then and there that he agrees and he's going to take him.
Yep.
So essentially he's going to deport him, right? And I think under normal circumstances, the Federation are well within their rights to deport this guy before he faces trial. So I think under normal circumstances, the Federation deporting this guy before he faces trial would be fine, except that they never would, considering the fact that he's facing murder. The United States deports people awaiting trial, but it's almost always for DUI or battery. It's never for murder. And what really throws a monkey wrench into this and what makes the Federation look really bad is that he did not kill a Federation citizen. He killed a Miradorn citizen. And it's so thoroughly unethical to me that they're going to release this guy to his home government while the Mirrodin receives no justice. The Rakhar government, they tell this Kai guy that he's going to receive justice, but we don't know that. We don't know that they're telling the truth. And this Kyle guy, he's not allowed any sense of justice. I mean, I don't
that's kind of why he goes off the deep end.
Doing is correct.
Chasing. Well, and he starts chasing a runabout. He's firing on a Federation ship. Like clearly this happens. The reason all this happens is because he's supposed to be the antagonist of the episode. So you're not supposed to like him or think about it too much. But I agree. I think the Federation, if they were going to give him to anybody's custody, they would go to the Miradorn planet and face Miradorn justice for killing a Miradorn.
Right.
Like that's if you're gonna deport him anywhere, you deport him to the people that were wronged, not to the nation that they come from. It's like, oh yeah, this guy committed tax fraud and robbed the United States of all millions of dollars, so we're gonna send him back home to Morocco. What? Where they're gonna give him a high five, say great job, will you put that money in our economy? So now in this case they're like, well, we're gonna kill him because he's a bad guy. But I don't know, it's weird. It's one of the many weak points of this episode, which made this, it was a fun episode to watch, but it was like, it's all right.
Yeah,
it's okay.
So next scene, we're back on the promenade. Odo confronts Quark for enabling Croden's escape plans, but the interrogation is cut short when Odo learns that Akel and his crew are blocking the entrance to his office. And we see that Odo is being driven by the desire to know more about these changelings that Croden was speaking about. And you're starting to see that it's influencing his work.
Yeah. We start seeing him act less and less like a lawman in this episode. It's not the first time he's acted less like a lawman, but most of the other times we've seen, it's in pursuit of the justice that he's proclaiming to see. This is him straight up, I want to know about my dad, so yes. I don't want to let this guy get hurt.
So Odo speaks with Croden in the brig. Croden mentions that him and Odo have much in common. As two people alone from the Gavin Quadrant, Croden tells Odo that the shapeshifters left his planet centuries ago, but he knows a place some live. He shows Odo a piece of jewelry that holds a shape-shifting key. And Odo, like any cop, has heard thousands of lies. He knows this guy's lying. He can see right through this guy, and yet he so clearly wants to believe. He wants, and that is the real art of a con artist, is giving someone a lie they desperately want to believe. You'll be rich is the most common one. For Odo, it's you're not alone in the universe, and I can take you and prove it to you. And it's understandable that Odo would desperately want to believe that, but he is being conned, Yeah.
The shape-shifting key was cool. I thought the effect looked pretty good. It was a pretty cool,
I agree.
Pretty cool effect. Does
that key come back later? I really don't remember.
They might talk about it in the episode where they find the Founder's Planet. Sort of find the Founder's Planet. Things are weird with that because Odo's arc and the Dominion arc, because spoiler, the shapeshifters are the kings and queens of the Dominion, which is the scariest bad guy since the Borg, and scarier than anybody other than the Borg. Scarier than the Borg, honestly, after Voyager, right? Because we see that the Federation can just fight the Borg at that point. They're just scarier Klingons. But the arc that Odo has to go find his people, and the arc that I feel like those two storylines were developed separately and then they pushed them together. It's not too jarring, but it's a little messy pre-Dominion stuff.
Yeah. Because Bashir basically tells him that it's in some way related to him.
This is your... Can Odo form a micro link with the key and make another shapeshifter?
There's so many questions.
Maybe that's what the key's for. Maybe the key is like a shapeshifter gamete, and he just has to give it some of that sweet Odo lovin', and you get a little baby Odo.
Yeah.
Unclear.
No, it's left, a lot of mystery is left.
Instructions unclear. Key stuck in bucket.
Yeah. So we get the scene with the runabout. They go to the alien planet. They ask them, the aliens are really mean and they're isolationists, and they say, just give us this guy. He's a criminal. Just bring it to him. And Sisko just kind of relents and says yes. And like I said, I think Sisko does the right thing by telling them.
Mm-hmm.
I think he does the wrong thing by agreeing to give him up. It's like you're essentially giving a guy who has not been proven guilty yet at this point.
Right.
You know, in our law system, you're presumed innocent until proven guilty.
So it could be that the Bajoran law system is a little different. We've seen that it's a little different. Maybe they don't have innocent until proven guilty on Bajor. Maybe they don't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But as far as my view, this guy hasn't been proven guilty yet, and they're just gonna give, you're a political dissident? Oh, have your political dissident. It just seems out of character. If they get their political dissident
back, then maybe they'll join the Federation. Remember that is his mandate. His mandate as commander of that station is to get another member of the Federation. And Sisko's thinking like, man, if I can get this Gamma Quadrant one, then maybe they'll give me a starship and I can just stop being a commander and be a real captain. And I can raise my son away from that troublesome Nog boy, get him away from that Ferengi influence.
Yeah, we talked about that in the pilot. It is pretty unethical that Picard is wanting Sisko to pressure the Bajorans into joining the Federation, because that is such like breaking the Prime Directive and so many other ethical issues with that.
And it's like, Bajor just went through the effect, like they broke up with their abusive boyfriend Cardassia. And now the Federation wants to be like, hey, you want to cry on my shoulder?
Yeah.
You can join my Federation anytime. How you doing, Bajor? I hear you've got some nice fire caves. Can I see your paw wraith? It's given a little creeper predatory vibes, but we've talked about that with the Federation. The Federation has some pretty serious flaws. The Federation is great if you live in the Federation. And if you love the Federation culture, it's awesome. If you are a species near the Federation that does not share enough values with the Federation, you're not going to like the Federation that much, because their whole goal is to absorb you into their culture and make you a part of their one great happy utopia, whether or not you want to.
And I can't wait to get to later DS9 seasons, because DS9 explicitly asks those questions and has some, inner introspection of the Federation and Starfleet and those kind of things, like just what you're talking about, which is what makes Deep Space Nine so unique.
Yeah, it makes it it asks questions in ways that make you want to ask questions in the real world about organizations that you feel are good. And I think any powerful organization anywhere deserves to be questioned and examined all the time. The more power they hold, the more questions they need to answer, right? That's how I feel about it. You know, I don't have a tinfoil hat or anything, mostly because tinfoil would pull my hair. You know, maybe when I get bald like you, I'll wear tinfoil. But
yeah.
I think that organizations of people that wield great power should be held to high standards. And the Federation is no exception to that. And they do it really well in DS9. They tried to do it in Picard, but they didn't.
There's a show called Picard?
There is a show called Picard. Patrick Stewart wanted to be an action hero when he was 80, and so they made a show for him. They made a show for him, and like every time he's in charge of something in the show, he's in a relationship with an actress who is literally half his age.
Yeah.
Never meet your heroes. Never meet your heroes.
So our next scene is in the infirmary, and Bashir confirms that the pendant is like a genetically related thing to Odo. And armed with his knowledge, Odo confronts Croden, who promises to lead him to a hidden changeling colony inside a nebula known as the Chamra Vortex. And this episode is called Vortex. I guess it's the best name they could come up with. The Vortex, like, thematically has nothing to do with the plot, like with the Odo, you know? He's not stuck in a vortex. I don't know.
I mean, he might feel like he's feeling like he's being pulled towards this thing. So that there's a little bit of theme in there, but the episode doesn't feel chaotic enough to warrant the Vortex name, in my opinion. But it is what it is. Like, what else are they going to call the Shattered Changeling?
And I had that thought today when I was driving today. I was thinking, like, well, what would be a better name for this episode? And
they could have called it Croden or something.
I was like, yeah, I guess Vortex is fine, because I could not think of anything better.
Croden and the Changelings, playing every Thursday night at Quarks.
So we'll go back in Sisko's office. Sisko returns to DS9 and orders Odo to transport Croden back to the Rakar. Sisko says that the Bajorans have agreed to release him. This ignores the fact that Sisko just promised this Rakar government that he'd bring Croden back in a few days.
Sisko makes promises that he doesn't know if he'll be able to keep more than once.
Apparently.
He does this. He has a habit. You know, well, whatever. It's his style. You know, he kind of plays things. He's much more seat of the pants than Picard was.
Yeah.
Or even Kirk. I would say Kirk is more deliberate than Sisko. Sisko is very intuitive with how he makes command decisions. He's probably the most intuitive captain, I think, out of all of them.
People have this idea of Kirk as like this wild space cowboy. And if you watch the episodes, really not that way, I don't think, in the episodes.
He's only wild space cowboy if you put him next to Picard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because Picard is the distinguished diplomat.
Yes. He's the philosopher king, which is why I love Picard.
But Kirk is a solid... Kirk is actually a lot like Jellicoe. Just more likable.
Yeah. He's more charismatic than all of them, too.
Yeah. He's more of a Jellicoe, and that's why it's like anytime people are like, it's Jellicoe. It's like, what, this other good, competent captain that you don't like because he's not your real dad? Oh, man. We need a Star Trek Jellicoe to fix Picard. The whole thing is just Jellicoe visiting Picard in the nursing home. Is Picard just like shouting lines from the Picard TV show, and they're like, "Oh, it's so sad to see him like this." Captain Riker comes in. Oh, it's so bad. I don't know. He kept on saying the Enterprise was destroyed, but it just came out of its refit. Now it's ready to go fight the war with the Klingons, you know, and just reset the timeline.
Just erase all the J.J. Abrams movies, just everything.
Oh, erase all of them, yeah.
That'd be great.
said something about Romulus being destroyed. Is it a supernova? How would they not have seen that coming?
Oh, dude, that whole supernova thing is so dumb. It's so beyond dumb. Oh, I don't even want to think about that right now.
You have to remember that J.J. Abrams and Alex Kurtzman know literally nothing about science fiction, and they're very good at
just Google supernova.
Movies.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
Supernova girl. Oh, hey, you mean like from Xenon Girl of the 21st Century, the Disney movie from 1998? Yeah, I know what supernovas are. Anyway, but yeah, enough of my headcanon. Let's get back to the episode. Sidetrack complete.
So we get on the runabout, the Rio Grande, and Odo and Croden travel through the wormhole. During the trip, Croden tries to appeal to Odo's isolation and reveals that his homeworld's government executed his entire family for being a political dissident. Do you buy his story?
I wasn't sure until his daughter was on the asteroid that they go to. I bought it at that point. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But Odo doesn't buy it either. Odo's like, sure they did. Okay, right. Yeah, sure. I believe you. You see the quotation marks I'm making with my claw hands? It means I don't believe you. The Lego movie's great.
Yeah, I don't, even after watching this twice, I don't know whether I believe him or not. And Odo, I don't know that Odo even believes him, but he still makes a character judgment such that he's willing to let him go at the end.
Yeah. Well, it was a little girl. And I think it was that. Plus, he just didn't want to deal with having a kid. Oh, if I give you back then. Hey, Vulcan science ship, do you want to deal with my problem? Because I don't.
Wouldn't it have been kind of interesting for the Odo character as the show went on if he had this human child, or not human, humanoid child that he had to take care of?
That's why he has to get quarters and expand beyond the bucket. Yeah. No, It would have been interesting, but our child actor quota for the show is full. With Nog and Jake. So we have enough young adult shenanigans, kid and young adult shenanigans. So we have no room for Odo's daughter, so we have to get rid of her somehow.
Yeah, we don't want to risk another Wesley. God forbid.
We have one already. His name's Julian Bashir.
That's great. I like that.
Haunted by my episode 0 discussion stuff. Oh, so haunted.
So back on DS9 at Quark's bar, one of the twins intimidates Quark into revealing that Odo and Croden have left the station and are heading back to the wormhole.
Do you think he's fire roasted? Like, is Akel the fire roasted salsa and Raquel, was he the pico de gallo? Roquel? Like, which do you prefer? Is that the difference? Oh, give me fire roasted every time, man. I like salsa.
Pico de gallo.
So salsa is cooked and pico is raw. That's the difference between salsa and pico. So pico is basically just a delicious salsa salad on a chip, and salsa is generally fire or pan roasted before it gets all mixed together and blended. But yeah, I want chips now.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the story. Intimidating Quark.
We get to see Quark's funny looking toy security chips, which are the little brown tubes. And I'm sure this changes as Quark softens up, but at this point he really does want Odo to die. And Rom definitely wants Odo to die.
Yes.
He is not the softened character that we get in later seasons yet.
Well, I don't know if he wants Odo to die. I think he just chooses himself over Odo every time, and it's not a hard decision for him.
Sorry, the conversation in this is that they're going to get two birds stoned at once,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And Odo's gonna die, and Rom's like, oh, Odo might die.
Yeah,
and
but
Rom's
then you're gonna get Primin back.
Yeah.
And he's not gonna have a uniform to wear because Colm Meaney's back on the show. And I don't think he's gonna fit in Odo's uniform.
No. Oh,
sorry. Continue.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So Croden gives Odo a bunch of lies about the changelings he met in the asteroid and how Odo has the same sense of decency and justice that they do.
This is hilarious if you've watched the show before. Absolutely hilarious. Because Odo is an outlier from changelings. None of them have a sense of decency and justice. They're all pretty scummy people. They are all hegemonic people.
Yeah, we'll get to that in later seasons, but boy, that woman changeling is so unlikable to me.
Oh, she does such a good job as the bad guy.
Yeah.
Just awesome.
So they're in the Gamma Quadrant. One of the twins, Akel, tracks down the Starfleet runabout and attacks. Outgunned and unable to shake the raider, Odo is forced to let Croden pilot the ship into the unstable, dangerous gases of the Chamra Vortex. And they go to an asteroid, and Croden lands the runabout on a foggy area to hide when Odo demands...
Again, an asteroid. I hate it when Star Trek does this. We're on an asteroid with a breathable atmosphere and very good gravity.
Yeah. A point, I was watching Best of Both Worlds. The Borg cube has no solid hull. Yet when they're in the Borg cube, you can see inside the Borg cube from the outside. And yet when they're inside, they can breathe.
You can see inside the Borg cube from the outside?
Yeah, look at it. Even on the close-ups.
That's just greebles on the surface.
I think you can see inside from
I think you're conflating Star Trek Picard with Best of Both Worlds. That's what I think you're doing right now. Where the Enterprise becomes the Millennium Falcon and flies into the Death Cube star to blow up the reactor core.
But Star Trek has a lot of that, like you're saying, like where they can just breathe in areas where there's no way they can breathe.
Even if you could see the inside, like the Borg have really good force field technology. We've seen that already. And drones can survive in space because they've got the force field shenanigans going on.
I don't know if it's a budget thing or they just think the actors are going to look silly if they're wearing helmets, but
I wouldn't mind Odo just not having a spacesuit. I actually would love I would love that. Yeah, he doesn't need a spacesuit because he doesn't actually breathe.
You're right.
He's just Odo, and then they just put a spacesuit or a breather mask on the other guy. And like even in Star Wars, they went into the stupid asteroid. They put masks on. Come on, Star Trek. Star Wars is paying more attention than you are. Come.
Yeah.
Yes, they lost points because there was a giant space worm in it, but come on. Anyway, so moving on.
they're on this asteroid. They're not wearing spacesuits. They're breathing air, just magic. And then Odo demands to meet the changelings, and Croden admits that he fabricated the story about the colony.
And then Odo shoots him and takes him back to the runabout, and the story ends. No, actually, that's not what happens.
So that's kind of a character nitpick in this. So Odo frees Croden to let him. So let me start over. Croden says, like, I have a vault here, this valuable thing, and it doesn't say that it's his daughter in there or anything like that. And Odo frees Croden to let him open this vault. Why? I half expected Croden to open the box and pull out his Raycar AKM and blast a hole in Odo.
Yeah. And then Odo reforms because bullets cannot hurt my changeling body.
Yeah, this was a big thing. Or I did not understand why Odo at this point was trusting this guy. It was not earned.
If he had said it's a stasis chamber and my daughter's inside it, I understand. Right? I think they wanted it to be a surprise that it was a person, but I don't know.
Yeah,
there's some weaknesses.
That's the real
there are
reason.
weaknesses in the episode. Yeah.
Yeah. So Croden reveals his true motive. His shape-shifting pendant is actually a key, which he uses to open the hidden stasis chamber on the asteroid, containing his young daughter, Yareth, whom he was hiding from the government. Chris, if you had to hide your family from the government, would you put your children in stasis?
Not just in stasis, but on an asteroid inside a volatile, dangerous nebula.
What if the Mirador had killed Croden in the holosuite?
Yeah, your daughter's dead.
The girl just dies in the box in 100 years when the battery dies?
Yeah, exactly. Or worse, it automatically wakes her up and she starves to death on the asteroid.
Yeah. Well, at least you'd be able to breathe, right?
Oh, yeah, at least, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been better for him to put her in a stasis pod, put her in a photon torpedo with a beacon on it, and shoot her off in deep space. She would have a better chance of survival.
That's true. Yeah.
Because he had no way of getting back. Zero way of getting back to the Gamma Quadrant other than committing a crime and convincing the lawman to let him go. Yeah, it's a weird one.
It's just kind of dumb. So, in typical Star Trek fashion, they're in a cave, so of course the cave's going to cave in. And Akel discovers their landing site is
I wanted the piece of rock that hit him to be the exact same styrofoam rock that Kirk uses in the Android episode of the original series that's clearly styrofoam and is vaguely phallic-shaped. I'm like, come on, get hit with the stone rock. Stone phallus to the head. No, it was regular, like, bridge console rocks that hit him.
Yeah. So Akel, our twin, discovers their landing site and bombards the asteroid, causing a severe cave-in that knocks Odo unconscious. And rather than fleeing to safety, Croden, our con artist, rescues the constable and carries him back to the ship. Then back in flight.
How does Odo work?
How
does Odo work?
Yeah.
He doesn't have a brain. Why did he get knocked out?
Yeah.
When it hit him, I literally out loud and said, what? What? What?
There's just not a lot of thought into it, obviously. I don't know how else to say it.
I wonder, was Odo the original character in this episode? Was it a different character? Because some of this stuff makes more sense. I don't know. It's weird.
I think it's an Odo episode, but it's just the stuff about him wanting the mystery and being conned, wanting so badly to believe this made up story about other people that are like him. That's the strength of the episode.
Yeah.
I like the con artist. That's the strength of the episode. Everything else is weak in the episode. Like virtually everything else. The plot is pretty stupid.
It's still not close to the worst episode we've seen, though.
Oh no.
So this was fine. When this one was playing, I was like, oh good, Matt doesn't feel like we're being tortured by season one with this episode. Yeah, he won't mind watching this one twice. It's okay.
Yeah. So they're in the nebula, back in flight. Odo tricks the pursuing Akel into firing his weapon at a pocket of highly volatile Tomare gas, creating a massive explosion.
I don't remember. Yeah.
That obliterates the Meridian ship. So Akel gives Odo the chance to once again hand over the prisoner. And we know that Croden is going to die if he's returned to his planet anyways. This means that Odo chooses to murder Akel in cold blood. He murders him. And
I don't know that counts as murder.
In my interpretation,
all Akel had to do is not shoot the runabout. Don't try to kill the other ship and you live. That's the only thing he has to do to survive. Akel blew himself up.
So legalistically,
he is the fire roasted salsa at this part of the episode. Akel fire roasted Miradorn salsa. Get some today. Only at Quarks.
So legalistically,
this episode.
I think you're right because he doesn't pull the trigger, right? but he sets a circumstance up. Maybe he'd get manslaughter because he sets a circumstance up that such that he knows this guy is going to die. And
does he get manslaughter? He's in international waters. There's no law out there.
There's no law.
It's all good, man.
It's
all good.
Wild West. But the thing is, I don't think this is bad writing. I think it shows deep down that Odo has his own sense of justice that isn't necessarily lawful. And we see evidences of this in the previous episode where Odo wants to imprison that Bajoran who killed a Cardassian before the peace treaty. So we know this guy has his own sense of justice, and his it doesn't require the law, you know?
No, absolutely not. Well, like I said at the very beginning, we see in this episode, Odo isn't a lawman. He isn't. Odo is Batman. He even doesn't like phasers. We see in the episode, I don't care for those. I don't use those things. He's That's Batman.
Yeah.
He's shape-shifting Batman that doesn't mind killing people, right? He's not a lawman.
Yeah, that's a great comparison. Interesting.
He's 1939 Batman with guns, but without guns because he doesn't use guns.
Yeah.
1942. I don't know. Whenever Batman, after he stopped using guns, but before he stopped killing people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a Batman like that among the 4 billion Batman comic books that have been written.
So we get to our conclusion, and Odo sympathizing with Croden's plight as a persecuted father. Odo intercepts a passing Vulcan science vessel and hands Croden and Yarth over to them for safe asylum. Croden leaves Odo with the shape-shifting pendant as a parting gift. The changelings are fascinating to me as this benevolent ancient mystery.
Yeah.
Kind of more interesting than the malevolent menace they turn out to be. Maybe I'll change my mind when we get to season 6 or 7. But right now it's fascinating to me, this idea of this ancient race, and Odo is kind of the remnants of it.
I think you think the Dominion arc is a lot later than it actually is.
Is that coming sooner than I think?
I think we start seeing them in like season 2 or 3 is when we first start seeing Jem'Hadar.
Okay.
It's pretty early.
Man, the story's that long? Wow. It's basically
super
6
long.
seasons. Wow.
Yeah, well, so it doesn't go to the end of it's the main arc in the middle of the show. But the Dominion arc is wrapped up before, I think it's season 6 it gets wrapped up. If not completely, then definitely by early season 7. And the rest of season 7 is all Gul Dukat and the Paw Wraiths, basically. So
is that who they're fighting at the end? The big battle at the end. I thought that was against the Dominion.
That's not at the very end, I don't think. Hang on.
I thought that was like
okay, I'm looking it up now. When
I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't spoil ourselves.
Let's see. Oh no, you're right. It does go all the way to the end. What am I thinking? Oh, I know what I'm thinking of now. But I don't want to. That gets a little bit too spoilery for people who are watching along with us. Because there's a big thing that happens in the middle of the Dominion War arc that you're not expecting to happen. And you're like, wait, what? This is happening? Wait, what? What? And that situation gets resolved earlier. But yeah, so yeah, the Dominion War is the whole rest of the show.
All right, well, let's wrap this up with our questions that we ask every episode. First one is, was there a singular ethical dilemma or a moral issue that defined the episode?
I think it's really kind of about what you want and what becomes important to you, right? How important is your code to you compared to the things that you really want is kind of what I feel like this episode's digging at a bit. It's a little clumsy with it, but that's really what it comes down to, you could refine it further and be like, vigilante versus officer of the peace, but that it's not nuanced enough to be that. It's really about your moral guidelines versus what lines are you willing to cross because you want to, because of something you want to grab or some information you need, or just because you like this guy and his kid, Now, personally, if I were in Odo's shoes and the kid was on board my ship, I'm not sending the dad to be executed. I'm a softie. I would probably also send him to the Vulcan science ship and be like, yeah, you know what? You guys go have your happy life. All right. Try not to do any more political violence. Okay. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah. My answer was virtually the exact same as yours. I put, what lengths should one go to for self-realization? Is finding truth worth hurting yourself or hurting others? And my meaning of that is essentially just what you said, is what Odo's on this journey trying to find information about himself, and how does he balance that with his own sense of morality, I guess you could say. If you had to delete one scene, which would it be? I
have two answers for this. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I put the murder scene. I don't like the direction or the execution. I don't think it's visually interesting. And it's all really tight shots with lots of cuts. The scene is lazy to me.
It did feel a little Michael Bay, didn't it?
Yeah.
Only with less camera shake. Well, the other thing is, like, the Miradorn that dies shoots at Croden from 4 meters away and misses him.
Yeah. 4 meters. You're being generous. They're so close.
Maybe 4 meters.
Yeah. And he misses dead. Yeah. Just point blank dead misses.
I'm pretty sure I could have hit Croden without even aiming down a sight.
Yeah.
I could have hit him firing from the hip at that range. Not even taking cover. It was, I don't know. It was weird.
It's not executed.
I would have done that scene wide beam stun setting, and it drops everybody but one of the Miradorn, and he like staggers to his feet with a phaser, fires, maybe wings the guy. He panics and switches it over to kill, and then that's how I would have done it. And then Odo's like groggily coming out of the glass, having been half stunned by the stun setting of the phaser, right? That's how I would have done it. I think that would have been a better way to execute that particular scene, but then we don't get to see Odo shatter and like rain on your wedding day form into one glob of Odo magic and come back up. Yeah. So I have 2 answers, and neither of them are that one. The one scene I would delete, I think, would be my first answer is the rock falling on Odo's head and knocking him out.
Okay.
No.
Good answer.
No, I'm sorry. Even in this early season, we've kind of established that Odo's super alien and doesn't actually have a brain in his head. So what? Oh no, but like, well, it would just splash, he's like, that'd be kind of cool. Like damage his head, like splash the goo out and had to reform. That'd be cool. Expensive effect. And maybe that makes him, maybe he's a little vulnerable in that state. And I don't know. I know why they did it, because they wanted to show Croden being altruistic and helping Odo, right? But
it's just such a lazy Star Trek trope. The cave.
Also, Croden can fly a runabout. How can he fly a runabout? How can he read the controls? How can he do any of that? Oh, I'm a pretty good pilot. Okay, you fly the runabout that you've never seen before in your life. That's not how this works, man. Like, that's like saying, okay, here's this American pilot who flies a Cessna 172, which is one of the most common general aviation airplanes, single engine airplane, right? And okay, go ahead and fly this Russian supersonic bomber. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. I can probably keep it in the air, but I don't know what the controls are. I don't know where anything's located. I don't know how to do anything. And that is more, those two things are more similar than whatever this guy's spaceships were and a spaceship made by a completely different species. Like it's I don't know. That
Or
that
you could
took me
take
out
the
of it.
opposite criticism and say the ship is so easy to pilot. Why can't Odo do
true.
it? You know, you could take the opposite criticism too.
And Odo is clearly not piloting the ship. He's telling the computer to pilot it.
Yeah.
Odo's telling ChatGPT to fly the runabout.
Yeah.
So, although I will point out that the Star Trek computer is a lot smarter than modern day AI. It's pretty dumb, but it at least delivers reasonable responses and factual information.
It can at least give an accurate outline for a Star Trek episode. Which I have problems with every week.
The other thing that I wanted to get rid of was Odo looking at Rom at the very beginning. Just that little cut where it cuts away to Odo looking at Rom instead of just doing the one shot.
Yep. Yeah.
Just that one little like 2-second shot. Doesn't need to happen. Get rid of it.
It ruins the genius. It's almost like an Alfred Hitchcock shot. Pan the camera up, and then pan it back down, and there's 5 glasses. It's a great genius shot, and you don't need special effects. You just have a guy kneeling down and put the glass up.
I guarantee you there was a guy kneeling behind the bar, or actually it might have even been Rene Auberjonois just put a glass on there and then ducked out of the shot.
Yeah.
You know, just boom, I'm out. You know, you don't even need another guy.
It ruins that little genius shot. And like we said, the only thing I can imagine is that they think the audience is too stupid to understand that that's Odo on the table.
I think that's what it was. But
so those are bad scenes. What was your favorite scene?
Oh man, when the runabout's coming out of the nebula and the other ship's exploding inside of it, that I said, "Oh wow, that looks great." Because there's that big eruption of nebula gases as the runabout's flying out of it. It just looks so good, and the model looks fantastic. Oh yes, beautiful, love it.
So I put when they're on the runabout and Croden tells Odo the story of his family being killed because he's like a political dissident, and I like this actor's style. Not saying he's the best of all time, but for whatever my tastes, I liked his style. I liked the character, and I like that scene in it. And when I was watching it, I was like, do I believe this guy? I don't know. I want to believe his story, but I don't know if I do or not. So I like that scene.
Yeah. I mean, he played it. He was pretty compelling as the father con artist, dissident, whatever he was. I did enjoy the character. I don't know if we see that actor again. I hope we do. He does a good job.
I think I looked that up. I don't think he's in any other Star Trek episodes. The other guy who plays the twins, he's in a bunch of Star Trek episodes.
Yeah, he's in a bunch. I saw that.
So on the Senior Chief Petty Officer Miles Edward O'Brien official scale of torture, how badly was O'Brien tortured in this episode? So O'Brien's not in this episode at all. And he's in the previous episode, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in the previous episode. I wonder if they shot this while he was away and just put it afterwards so you got a little bit more O'Brien.
So he was shooting a movie called The Snapper. And when I learned that, I looked it up and downloaded the movie to watch. And I don't really have a funny answer for this week. I'll just give it a 0. But I do want to mention that I watched this movie, The Snapper. It's an Irish film. It's a comedy drama film. He has a close-knit Irish family, and his eldest daughter gets pregnant and won't tell anyone who the father is. And as you can imagine,
Julian Bashir, wasn't it?
No.
It was Julian Bashir.
Well, as you can imagine, the reason why is because the conception wasn't consensual. And I found it to be a very moving film and a great look into Irish culture in the 90s, including the fact that her local community treats her like a floozy because she doesn't want to reveal what really happened to her. And I recommend it. It's a snapper. I thought it was pretty moving.
That's a problem still today.
Yep.
You know, that's still a problem today. Women are, it's incredibly, I mean, obviously being sexually assaulted is awful already, just period, full stop right there. But then there's all this like baggage attached to it that people consciously or unconsciously assign to the victim, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, this guy attacked you? Well, what are you wearing? What?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, he's like, excuse me, pardon me. You know, it's just, yeah, that's
Well, we put
that's
chastity on as a responsibility of the women, and it's like,
that's
you know,
not how that
when
works.
men are stronger,
You know?
well, that's creates an issue that you put the moral responsibility on the person that often can't resist. Let's be real. So
You can't physically resist. And also, yep, man, I wish Lily were here for this, because she would be able to give some good insight into this particular subject. But there's this great, I'll go one more thing on this. There's this I don't know it's a show, and it's a British show, I think, and there's this police officer interviewing a rape victim. I'm not going to bleep the word out, because I think that self-censoring words that are bad when they're serious subjects like this is bad. I think that hurts society. So if you are a content creator listening to this, please don't say substitute words for rape, kill, gun, any of that stuff. You need to say the words so people understand that they're serious words. Talking to a rape victim, and the guy goes, okay, well, what were you wearing? You know, something like that. Or no, did you fight back at all? That's what it was. Well, did you fight back at all? And the woman is obviously very distressed. And the husband in the room grabs a knife and holds it to the police officer's throat and delivers this awesome line about how talking about the amygdala controlling the brain, and going, right now, you know that I'm probably not going to hurt you. You know that you could probably push this knife away before I can get to you, but you can't do anything, because that amygdala has taken over, and all it wants to do, all it knows, is that there is a deadly threat against your throat, and all it wants to do is survive, and it will force you to do anything you can to survive, even if that means doing nothing. And that's what happens to victims of sexual assault. They can't believe it's happening, and they just want to survive.
Yeah.
Right. That's what happens. And it's never the victim's fault.
Well, this is getting so off topic, but I do want to say the
super
movie,
off topic. Yeah.
The movie is the Snapper movie. It's she gets blackout drunk, and there's an older man who's also drunk. And I would say that he initiates the intercourse, right?
Right.
And this is a thing that I've often heard people argue is that non-consensual, right? And if you think about it, like, and it is it is to me objectively legally non-consensual, because
start with that. Start with your opinion on these ones.
I'll explain. Like, if even though this guy, I think under normal circumstances would not, if he was sober, would not do this, right?
Correct.
He's not some guy. He's not the kind of person that's like out there at night, kidnapping people. He's not. It's just. But it's the same thing. If you initiate it, like if, let's say it's killing someone, if you're drunk and you hit someone with your car, even though you did not intend to do that, you made a decision such that you killed someone.
Yeah.
So you can't claim innocence in this instance. So
well,
even though this guy, if he was sober, he would not have committed this act. She was an unwilling participant, and he initiated it. So to me, that's a criminal act. Whether he would have done that under normal circumstances is irrelevant. Like, you did it, right?
Does Colm Meaney cut the guy's balls off at the end of the film? Because that would be a great ending to the film.
I don't want to spoil it if anybody watches it. It's it deals with it in an interesting way. and it really deals with the real complexities of the social aspect of them kind of being this kind of close-knit community.
Yeah, and I imagine that makes it much harder.
Because it's a guy that everybody knows, and she is not being totally honest about it with people, understandably, because she's so disgusted and like kind of wants to pretend it never happened, or pretend it was anybody else other than this old man, who's her friend's dad. But so that's what Colm Meaney was off doing instead of doing this Vortex episode.
I mean, it sounds like he was doing good work wherever. I mean, Colm Meaney does good work wherever he is.
Yeah, it's a really good movie, I think. But back to this episode. Is this,
zero.
You're skipping a question.
No. I said zero about the 0 to 4 lights. I don't think I said my answer, so I'm just saying it now. 0. He didn't suffer. He wasn't in it. You have to be in it to suffer, O'Brien.
Okay, gotcha. On the Colm Meaney, yeah. I got.
Now that we're back away from talking about really uncomfortable subjects.
Yeah. So is this episode properly defined as science fiction? I don't think so. I think Odo is a man separated from his people, people he's never met. I don't think the fact that he's a shapeshifter is a prerequisite for the story or journey. I don't think you need technology
for anything, any kind of high technology, fanciful technology for anything in this episode. This is a pretty standard, like you could do this in a cop show or something.
Yeah.
Pretty good episode of a cop show, to be honest, if you tweaked it a little bit. Wonder who the salsa salesman would be.
So who's the main character? 1 word, 3 letters. Odo, obviously.
Yeah, it's Odo for sure.
Overall score 0 to 5 stars. I think I'm gonna go 2.75. I love the guest stars. We actually get to learn about Odo in a real way, what drives him as a character. And that's about it. What did you think?
I gave it a 2.8, so almost the same. It wasn't the worst, but it wasn't even up to average standards, but it wasn't that far off. It was just nitpicks that I knew that I think people who aren't me wouldn't nitpick quite so hard. I think the acting was well done. It was just kind of a lot of plot holes and a lot of moments.
Yeah, the plot is not interesting. There's enough character stuff to chew on that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
But it's an overall pretty forgettable episode.
If I'm doing a watch through, I wouldn't necessarily skip this episode, but I might fast forward a couple times to get to the next one. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I've been doing a Voyager watch through, and sometimes I just go tap, tap, tap on the screen. Like, okay, I don't care. Tap, tap, tap. All right, there we go. Now we're back to the characters I like. Shut up,
nice,
Neelix. All right.
I don't, yeah. How did I know? Skipping Neelix.
You know, as I've been watching it, Neelix doesn't bother me as much as he did when I first watched. I think he gets a bad rep from the first couple of seasons, but he's a much more likable character later on when he's kind of integrated with the crew. And the guy, I forget the guy's name, Ethan Phillips. The guy who plays him does a really good job. Like, it's nothing about how he's acted. It's everything about how he's written.
So you wouldn't have replaced him with Tuvix, the transporter accident?
I'm with Janeway. Kill him. Kill Tuvix.
Yeah. Yep.
Tuvix doesn't know how Janeway likes her coffee, so,
No. Exactly.
Yeah, get out of here. Janeway's the most cold-blooded Starfleet captain, by the way. She is just cold. Whatever it takes to get her crew home, man. Just, sure. Let's do it. Attack a random... let's do it. Let's go. I mean, Archer has some moments, but Janeway would not want to have to go against her. If I'm a captain of a ship and the other captain is Janeway, I'd be like, maybe we can work something out, because you're probably gonna like eat my children or something. I don't know. Janeway's ruthless.
One of these days I'm going to watch Voyager from beginning to end. But today's not that day.
It's definitely an experience. Oh, man. Well, we got through that episode, didn't we?
Yep. I didn't even see. What's our next episode?
I don't remember.
Getting closer to the end.
We're halfway through. It's 24 episodes? 23 first season? The first season's shorter. I remember that.
The finale, actually, we get back into like the main plot, right? The prophets and all that.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, we get into it a little bit more in this season too, because I think there's some shenanigans with somebody.
Kai Opaka. That's in our next episode. The spiritual leader. It's called Battle Lines.
Kai Opaka is great. Yeah. And then her replacement is not so great later on. And then there's also, Kira gets like a priest boyfriend or something.
They go with Kai Opaka and with her into the Gamma Quadrant. Yeah, these next episodes look more interesting to me.
Yeah, I'm excited to see them. Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. Remember, this episode was brought to you by Akel and Rokel, Mirador Salsa, fire roasted or pico de gallo. Try some of Quark's today. It goes great with Frankie tube grubs.
Spicy as phaser fire.
Spicy as phaser fire. Extra medium.
All right, I'll see you on the next one.